Welcome back to this student induction series for new students on the e-learning system. Now that we've dealt with our questions that come from Assessment Tool 1, which are the section activities, we're going to move on to the different assessment tool types. Just before I do that though, once I do all of Section 1 activities and submit those to my trainer and get feedback and resubmit and continue that process till we get some sort of satisfactory result, once that's actually done, then I would commence my reading on Section 2, and that will be just as per Section 1 except new information that I'm reading. And once I finish my reading on Section 2, I then go on to Section 2 activities. Very similar to Section 1, there'll be some inline answers and there'll be some uploaded answers, and so on and so on. Eventually, I'll be at that point where I've done all of my prescribed reading, I've done all of my prescribed activities, and I've received back feedback from my instructor to say that it's all good to go. Then I'll move on to these other assessment tool types. So looking at Assessment Tool 2, it suggests here that these will be written and oral questions. And actually they'll be written because in the online environment the oral responses aren't so easy to get. Now this is good, this is pretty easy. They're just questions just like the other questions. Many of them will be inline answers, which is perhaps a little bit of relief. It means that maybe I'm only supplying a page response or half a page response, so that's good. Now one of the tricks with Assessment Tool 2 types is the questions that are being asked could be drawn anywhere from any of the section learning activities. So before it was very guided. If I'm answering here, it's from this reading. Here, this reading. Here, this particular question, I don't know if my answer is coming from Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. So now you can probably understand why it's important that you have done all of your section reading, all of your section activities, which now means that you've got a good strong grasp of the entirety of this unit, and now you can answer some of these free-form questions, and you don't need to be pointed to what section it's from, because by now that should be embedded in your head. So most of these are inline answers, and there is one here which suggests it wants me to upload something. So again, the feeling I have there is that means that's going to need a longer response. Otherwise it would just be an inline response here. Now let's just jump straight over to the final assessment tool type, and it looks a bit daunting. It's projects. You give that a bit of a click. Now projects, as you might expect, will be substantial answers. These are what they would refer to as summative answers. They sum up the entirety of your knowledge for the entire unit of learning. So there'll be some scenario that you need to read through very well, start to highlight all the key areas that it wants you to respond to, and then you'll need to supply some sort of response to that. Now you can see here that all these require you to upload information, and this one here is actually quite prescriptive because it says in approximately 2,000 words comment on these statements. So for anyone, myself including, that's daunting, but this is a diploma course, and so 2,000 words. 1,000 words is not approximately 2,000 words. 1,500 words is not even approximately 2,000 words. 1,800 words to 2,200 words, well, that is approximately 2,000 words. So if you're not getting up to the word level limit, it's a very good indicator that you're not providing the depth and quality of answer that we're probably after. So when you get a bit of a guide like that, follow the guide. So with this, if I have a look at this project here, they actually provide you with a scenario, and if I were to click on that, typically that will either open in a page or download for you, and you can read through the scenario. Again, take your notes on that, highlight the areas that you need to highlight, and then based on that scenario, you need to provide these answers. A good idea here is using these bullet points sometimes as headings within your answer, and that way you can be very sure that you've attended to all the criteria that were supposed to be addressed. So that's a really smart way often to deal with this. They're very big questions. Use these bullet points as headings and then respond to each heading. And there you go. They're your different assessment types that you'll face in this original style of assessment questions. And well, I'll just wrap up in a final video for this, and then we'll talk about other things.